First meal since Friday, and it's a Monday night.
So don't you be afraid of giants in your way. With God, you know that anything's possible.
It's me, Smile McGee, and I am a lot less medicated than I was last night. So I thought it would be a good time to tell you about what happened yesterday and why I'm not in the ICU. Hallelujah. I was terrified of that because, as you guys know before, I'd been told multiple times that my health and my heart are not stable enough to go under twilight sedation. So I'd have to go under general, and you see this lovely puffy face that is still happening and these gorgeous sausage fingers. Last time, that inflammation was the reason why so when you're under general, you have to get intubated, so machine breathes for you and stuff. So they have to like put a tube down your mouth into your lungs. That's probably not anatomically correct. But anyway, last time when they pulled the tube out, it irritated the swelling going on in my body, and that's what sent me to the ICU. So I came to my scope yesterday basically prepared to die. Well, it's a bit dramatic, but prepared to relive some of the most terrifying experiences of my life. But we get there, and everyone's really sweet, and they remember me from last time. But I guess it's kind of hard to forget someone who was gasping for air and making jokes before a rapid was called on them, and they were sent out to the ICU. But they were all so sweet, and it was really fun. They were really kind. Oh, I'm brain foggy. And the doctor who came in loved her. She was so funny. And I told her thank you for talking with my doctor and fitting me on her patient load to do this because she's booked full. And the funny part was my doctor never told her that she was doing a scope on me. He just kind of put me on her list. So she busted up laughing. She's like, oh, that stinker, I had no idea that you were actually going to be my patient today, actually. But I just can't take any more patients right now. She has a kid who's sick. She's been sick herself. But she was kind of talking to me like you talk to a dog that you really want to take home from the pound, but you just can't have the time for. She wanted to take me on as a patient so bad, and she told me that. But she just, with her children being sick, and she does a lot of research and just might have gotten a new grant for research and all that, she just can't add any patients to her load. And she was really, really sweet. I just loved her. And then the best part, the anesthesiologist came in, and he's probably the best anesthesiologist I've ever had. Because I tell him my fears, and he's like, well, why do we have to do it under general? And I explained my heart to him. He's like, in my experience, we can still put you under twilight. I mean, if you start tanking, we'll have to put you under general. But as long as I keep close monitoring on your heart, you should be just fine. And I'm like, what? I don't have to go under general? He's like, yeah, you don't have to go under general. You're already swollen. Let's not aggravate your airways and send you to the ICU again. And I swore I heard a Hallelujah chorus singing in the background of my head. So we agreed to that. I signed the paperwork. He was awesome. We got in there. I went totally out. And then I woke up in recovery. But the funny part was, apparently, while I was in, getting the scope done, I was trying to talk to them and crack jokes while under deep sedation. The anesthesiologist was so cute. He's like, do you remember anything at all from your scope? I'm like, no, dude. You did a good job. I was totally out. I was like, well, I don't think I'll forget it because you had a tube shoved down into your stomach and you were laughing and trying to crack jokes. We couldn't understand a word you were saying, but it was pretty funny. So And here's all the medical news that they found in my endoscopy and colonoscopy. So in a grand total, I had 10 biopsies taken yesterday. And let's see if we can show you some pretty pictures of my insides. My stomach is still pretty dang swollen. And you see this delicious rotten bread look going on right there. That is because I have thrush. Thrush is like Satan's yeast infection. No, that sounds gross because it doesn't come from where yeast infections usually come from. It comes from steroid inhaler use, either not cleaning them properly or going on antibiotics and being on a steroid, which is the story of my life. I get thrush all the time, but never in my esophagus. Ew. And yeah, I had some pretty severe gastritis. They took a ton of biopsies, and then in my colon, after all that work, 2 days of stinking prep, I was not cleared out all the way. So dumb. But they got in there and suspect that either some colitis is going on or I still have C. diff. So I have to do more testing for that today. So I get to poop in a lovely jar and hand it to people. And then they found a pretty big polyp in my colon. It was about 10 millimeters. I'll see the pretty pictures. There's that big ugly sucker. And then they found a 4 millimeter one, and again, there was like inflammation in my lower colon area. And they took a ton of biopsies. So they want me to have another like colonoscopy and maybe another scope too, I don't remember, in a year because the prep, I think it's just a colonoscopy because the prep was insignificantly done. And of the polyps because they couldn't see the rest in my colon, and they think if there was those 2 polyps there might be a heck of a lot more. So that's comforting. But I didn't end up in the ICU, and that's the greatest part. I just felt like the biggest blessing ever. Well, I gotta go head to my PCP appointment. We're gonna discuss my swollen face and go through all my meds. So I will see you guys in about 6 hours to finish this vlog. So I'm back home from my PCP appointment, and he's phenomenal. I love him, but I'm just frustrated as heck after that appointment. And I think he got some of the brunt of my frustration because every doctor is still contradicting each other. And I just don't know what to do. He wanted to go over my medications to see if maybe I didn't need them all. And I'm screwed up enough. I need every single one of them. Except one, which is being taken off the market because it's giving people cancer. Because I need more of that. It's just, I don't know what to do. He wants me to stop a med that he thinks may be contributing to the swelling, my NSAID, because it's typical for NSAIDs to cause edema. But I've already been through this whole thing with my rheumatologist after my hospitalization. We decided that NSAID isn't causing the edema. So it's just, everyone disagrees with each other. And it's just really freaking frustrating. And my PCP also thinks there may be a new heart issue going on. So he wants to schedule an echo. So just a lot of guesses, a lot of moving parts and pieces. And there's some natural routes I could go down that I just don't feel comfortable with. And he thinks that the possible colitis or C. diff may be contributing to this inflammation too. And we just don't know. And I'm just... That's the emotion I feel right now. It's just frustrating, and I'm just kind of done being sick at the moment. I'm getting in contact with my rheumatologist too because I feel like it might be good to have some more eyes on the inflammation process because my PCP seems to think it's medication caused, but just in case it's not and it's part of this autoimmune process, I would really like to have my rheumatologist on board. And yeah, I'm just frustrated. I mean, I'm not in the ICU today, so today could be a lot worse, but it was frustrating. He is amazing, and I think I'm just taking out my frustrations on my health on that appointment. I would still recommend him to anyone and everyone because I love that doctor, but I do not love this flesh prison. Ugh. I just don't know what to do when it comes to my health, like, at all. I've been just really focused on quality of life instead of longevity because I just want to live my best life now because I can't really worry about future Megan. But every time I talk to my PCP, it seems like some of the choices I'm making, like to stay on my NSAID and to be on prednisone, are going to damage the longevity effect. But I just can't count on future Megan to be there, you know? I need to count that Megan can get out of bed tomorrow. So it's just really frustrating. But there's a lot of good, even though there's a ton of frustrating. And there's a big old medical update. I'm not in the ICU, which is great, but I'm just frustrated. So I guess maybe still wish me luck. We'll see what happens next. And as always, smile on.
First things first, I'ma say the words inside my head. I'm